You know, it ain't nothing but a G thing,
Yeah, I can't hear
baby.
you though.
You can't hear me?
No, I can't hear you.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, let me see. Man, let me see if I can do something, try something different
Yeah,
here. Yeah.
I hear you loud and clear.
I don't know why. I don't know why it's like it for. Hold on, man. See if I can try something different.
All
Let's
right.
see.
Still,
Hold on. Yeah, try to
is it?
say something. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
I can hear you. You still can't hear me?
Yeah, I don't know why it's so low like it.
Wow, that's
Hey, what's
weird.
going on, V? Yeah, let me see if I can try to get you. Man,
Is V there too?
man. I don't know. You gonna try to make it work? Let me see. So I'm gonna go on my iPad. Let me see if I can try it on there. Cause nah, man,
Okay.
we can't let this go out like that.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay, I can hear you.
Is that better?
Yeah,
Oh, now we got a little echo happening.
I know, man.
Yeah. It's only on your voice though.
Oh, okay, yeah. I had to get on my iPad and stuff. So
Yeah, I'm on my iPad too.
yeah, so that's one of the reason why and stuff. Man. Uh,
Is it better
but
now?
yeah, oh yeah, I can hear you now. So let me
Okay.
try to switch gears. Let me move this over chill. All right, everybody. Sorry, y'all. Have some technical difficulties and stuff. But you know how it is with.
Hey man, that's a man-made products.
I
They
swear,
they
man.
they make them to screw us up. That's what they do.
Yeah, man. Just to get us out of the way quick, man, like a side chick. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I swear.
they keep changing them.
Yeah, man. Because every time you think you get close to something, man, then they
Yeah.
turn around, man, mess you over and stuff. It never does.
As soon as you learn how to work something, then they come out with something new to and change everything.
Yeah, tell me
They
about this,
change the connections on them, all kinds of stuff.
man. Shoot. Man, I want to restart myself. Big shout out to Miss V. You know what I'm saying? That's the PRV Vintage. Make sure you guys
Yeah.
follow her on Instagram. And I go by the name Rashawn Lee for the R&B Talk Show. And I want to say this to anybody out there, man. You guys been following me for a while. I ain't talking about the fans, but some of these people that's in the business. My name is Rashad. My mama did not name me Rashid, Rochelle, Ro, none of that damn Rashad. So ain't no E in my name. You know what I'm saying? Man, but I want to give you your flowers, man, because I read your bio and I said, man, this mother been around, man, for some decades, man.
Since I was 7 years old, man, I've been doing this stuff.
Oh man, that's incredible, man. And just read your bio. I said, man, this bird here got definitely got a great journey and stuff like that. And
Well,
I want to,
there's a lot of stuff that's not in that. I got to update that bio because there's a whole bunch of stuff that I gotta update and put a lot of new stuff in there.
oh wow,
With the maze stuff happening, and
yeah,
I got to get all that in there now.
yeah, I can relate to that, man. When it comes to updates, especially so much, saying going on and stuff like that. So I can definitely relate, when it
Yeah,
comes to that.
but it makes it harder because I'm always on the move, and it's makes it tough. I got a couple of people here at home that I can call and say, "Hey, could you update this thing with this?" One of the ladies that I was using had a new boyfriend, so you know how that slows things down.
Oh yeah,
But I think they just broke up, so maybe she'll be on the job again.
yeah, yeah. She got plenty of time now, cause shoot, ain't nobody checking for right now. You know what
You
I'm
know
saying?
what I'm saying?
Oh man, but yeah, I just want before we talk about your history, just want to talk about the whole Frankie Beverly tribute experience and stuff with Maze. Uh, like how far does your friendship with Frankie Beverly goes back?
All of it is brand new.
Oh wow,
It's all brand new. I actually met Frankie in person probably about 2.5 months or so before I started doing those last three gigs with him.
oh wow,
I mean, of course, we all know who he is from
yeah,
way back, but Yeah, it's back the last 2.5 months is when I actually met him, and then I did the last three gigs that he was on, and that was it. But he trusted the opinion of my brother, Mr. Carl Wheeler, who was the musical director. Carl told him, he said, "This is the cat," and they all said, "Okay." And
Wow.
that's how it went down. And then, of course, when he heard me, and we started talking about a few things, and telling a few stories and stuff, then it was like it was solidified.
Man. Yeah, because I think whenever most cases, whenever an artist comes in, it's one thing you replacing somebody who is still around and stuff like that. And they
Right.
taking a break to go solo or just retire for health issues and stuff. But to come in, you're thinking to yourself, say, you know what, I'm not worried about nobody saying. I'm just here just to pay homage to the man that really
That's it.
fill not just
That's it.
concert stadiums, but barbecue cookouts,
That's
you
it.
know, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Telling you, man, it's like he laid a legacy, boy, that's gonna go on. Actually, when we're gone, it'll still be going on.
Yeah, still
You
be.
know,
Yeah,
and I'm makes me I was talking about this with a couple other people a few days ago. How guys like him and now our brother Walter Scott from the Whispers, he's gone now,
yeah.
and those guys never got what is due to them, and that's really not right.
It
It's
ain't.
not right.
It ain't. It's sad though because like you spend your whole life, make a name for yourself. You love what you do. And
Exactly.
one thing you're receiving platinum gold plaques and having hit singles, but it's like no recognition when it comes to awards or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I remember I said this in one of my commentaries on Instagram on like when I went live, and I said one thing about being a black artist is that they only put up with this much of black artists, but the rest they just toss it to the side.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
It's a shame, man. But I'm glad to be here. It's a trip. With it, a lot of these things just keep falling right in my lap. With the Santana thing too, it was
Yeah.
pretty much happened the same kind of way. It fell in my lap, and then 25 years later, I was Santana for 25 years. So it
Oh
was like,
wow.
yeah,
That's awesome, man. I tell you, you definitely blessed to get those calls. Say, hey, man, like we want you all, man. Like we like what we hear, man.
oh
Hey,
yeah,
let's get it, man. No question
and
too.
I enjoy it. It all comes with the I tell kids, not only do you have to have the talent, but you got to be able to get along with people, man.
Yeah.
If you can't get along with folks, I don't care how much talent you got, it's not gonna last. I deal with a lot of stuff, that kind of stuff myself. It'd be some musicians or whoever, singers or whatever, and you got a lot of talent, but they're a pain in the neck, so I won't call them. I'd rather call somebody else that's easier to work with.
Yeah, absolutely and stuff, man. Shoot. But when I was hearing some of the like when I listened to some of your live performances at V, she was posting it, and I said, man, I was like, if you close your eyes, I said, this brother sound like Frankie Beverly, man. And you're not trying to like copy, but you just your
No,
voice tone is like almost similar to his, and I'm like, man,
exactly. Yeah, and even with the bands that I worked, I got a band out here in San Francisco Bay Area. We had a band called Spangalang,
yeah,
and it's a 5-piece band, and it was that kind of vibe with the Maze vibe.
man,
5-piece and some bad cats. At one point we had 5 guys that all had lead vocal potential. So can you imagine what our vocals sounded like when we sang together? It was ridiculous.
oh
You
man,
know, that kind of stuff. And we do a serious variety type of. I mean, I don't stick to one genre of music.
yeah,
I do jazz stuff, straight ahead jazz or whatever, and I do R&B stuff. I do rock stuff. I mix it up. I've been doing big band stuff lately, and we do a Ray Charles project, all kinds of stuff, man.
oh man, that's awesome right there, man.
Yeah,
Cause that's the thing too. Like you got to have that universal voice, cause not everybody just
exactly.
have that. And
It's
you know,
true.
I I got a cousin. He's older than me, and there was a guy that was an engineer, And he asked him, we say looking for. He said Chris Brown. He said, "Well, wait a minute now." He said, "You talking about Chris Brown in this era, or you talking about the mid 2000s?"
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know. And I told my cousin, I said, "Brother, that ain't you, man. Go hang it up, brother.
yeah.
Leave that to the younger people and stuff." But I wanna start all the way back when it comes. Say like when it all started. Now, correct me on this. You born on the West Coast?
Nope, I was born in Kingston, New York.
Oh, okay.
Born and raised.
Yeah. So what's your life like growing up in New York as a child?
Man, it was cold as heck in the wintertime back there. And summertime, I got to go back for a reunion at the end of this month, of July. And I look forward to going back to seeing all the people. But man, that heat and humidity, I'm not like, 'cause I live here in the Bay Area. It's beautiful out here. The weather's always nice, and we get a little breeze blowing. Sometimes it's a little bit cooler, but I'd rather deal with that than that heat and that humidity.
You ain't lying about that, man, because this heat ain't no joke, man, especially like here in the
Oh,
Midwest, man. Boy, they be talking about, oh, welcome to spring. I said, how the hell is spring at 94 degrees outside? Ain't no spring. Ain't no wind breezing. It's heat,
yeah.
flaming.
I was talking to my sister this morning. She said it's 90 degrees in Kingston today. She said feel like it's hotter than that though.
Wow,
I'm
that is
like,
crazy,
oh. So in a couple of
man.
weeks, it's really gonna be hotter than that in a couple more weeks. So
Yeah. So growing up, would you sing around the house like with your parents, like playing like vinyl records of like classical music, R&B, and jazz and stuff like that?
the neighborhood I grew up in, man, people would have radios blasting out of their windows.
Oh,
We'd be out, the kids, we'd be out in the street playing, and the older folks would have Four Tops and Temptations and all that kind of stuff. Al Green blasting out of the windows, while we're outside playing. So I grew up listening to all that kind of stuff. And, Ella Fitzgerald and Sarah Vaughan and
oh
Joe,
wow,
all those folks, man.
wow.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I was blessed at hearing all kinds of music. Bill Withers, Billy Paul. Uh, I mean, the list of Ray Charles. The list of music goes on and on and on. Heard
Wow.
all of that stuff.
Yeah, so during those days, you thought to yourself like, "This is what I want to do as you'll say to be an artist," or was there anything that you wanted to do, like with like sports or any type of career?
Well, we had a singing group. I was the youngest in the group. I was probably 8 years old then. Called Four of a Kind. Me and one of my cousins and two other friends that we all grew up together,
Right.
and we used to like to just get together and sing. So a couple guys that were in older guys that were in singing groups, like they had some groups that around there that were like the Temptations and all that. And there was this one building that one of the guys lived in, one of the cats in the group, and his sister had a boyfriend that would come over, and he was one of the guys that was one of the older guys that was in the singing group. And he said, "Hey man, you guys digging this stuff? You want to? I can teach you how to sing some harmony and all that." So we would go with this guy. He taught us a bunch of songs, taught us how to
Right.
sing harmonies and all that stuff, and we started going out and do talent shows and all that kind of stuff. We were kicking everybody's butt, man.
Oh man, I can imagine those
oh,
days, man.
oh, I was a little kid, man.
Oh man. Yeah, I do miss talent shows, say because you get a chance to show out, sit right for the other kids, like they'll tease, like, oh yeah, you talking like crap, but I can sing. That's something you
Oh yeah,
can't do.
yeah. Well, the other thing too, my dad used to work in the hotels around there in upstate New York. So a lot of times when they would have some type of banquets or something, hey, my son and them got a little singing group. You should have them come in and entertain you. So we go out there. We had our patent leather shoes with our tuxedo pants and cummerbunds with the ruffle shirts and all that. And we
Yeah.
get out there singing. We had our little steps and everything. People would be throwing money out on the floor, but we were making some money that age.
Oh wow, man.
So our parents never had to worry about us. We went to school, came home, did our homework, and we went to practice singing. That was it. Or unless we were playing some sports too at school, which played basketball and all that. They knew where we were all the time.
Wow.
No problem.
Yeah. So by the time you became an adult, you thought to yourself like, I could make a living off of this. I see the things I did as a kid. Everybody love what I do. Let's see, this could work, for me.
Well, I just always did it. Even when I went away to college, the first thing I did after I got my classes together, I went around the campus to find out who the musicians were on campus so we could, you know, get together and jam or do whatever. I always had music involved in. So it was one of those kind of things that where I never even thought about or worried about, is this what I'm gonna do for a living? I already knew.
Yeah.
I went to school up in Albany, New York, and I took all accounting classes and everything that had to do with money because I said when I start making some money, I want to know where to put it.
Yeah. Man,
It's that was it.
man. When I was reading your bio, I said you won 11 Grammys.
You see him right there's some right in
Yeah.
back of me. You see that cabinet there?
Yeah, I see it. I kept looking. I said, "It's got to be a Grammy back there, man."
Oh yeah, it is 11 of them,
Wow.
and there's some other awards in there too.
Oh well, okay. That looks like a trumpet award or something like
Uh
that.
huh. Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah.
There's
Oh man,
American Music Awards in there.
boy.
There's all kinds of stuff in there.
Oh wow, man.
And as an independent artist now, I've been winning awards as an indie artist now too. I got Male Artist of the Year. I got Album of the Year, and one of my albums, which is called Soul Soldier, that album won Album of the Year 2 years in a row in the indie
Wow.
market, and nobody else has done that. I looked it up in the Guinness Book of World Records and all that stuff. I looked it up, and there's only two other artists that won Record of the Year 2 years in a row. It was Stevie Wonder and
Wow.
Frank Sinatra. But the difference between the two of them and me is my album, Soul Soldier, won for the same album 2 years in a row. Those guys won for two different albums 2 years in a row.
Wow, man. That's legendary right there, man. you
And
know,
nobody knows that.
it's one thing you're a kid, you dream about so much stuff. But as you were receiving those awards back to back, you thought to yourself, like, man, if I would told my 18-year-old self, like, this is what I'd be doing, I don't think I would be believing as far as like with all those accolades and
Yeah.
everything.
But you know what? A lot of people make a mistake of thinking about. I get a lot of cats that call me and say, "Hey, man, I want to talk to you and pick your brain, man. Uh, I see you hooked up with so and so, man. What kind of returns you getting on your money?" I said, "See, I don't even go at it that way. I put my
Yeah.
music out because I love my music." And I said the one thing that I was adamant about, I wanted to hear myself on the radio.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I do my music. I got my own studio in San Francisco that I use for only my writing purposes. That's it. And I have a co-producer. Is by the name of Randy Yamada, who is a bad cat. He lives in Los Angeles. He used to live here in the Bay Area, and me and him have been good friends a long time. So I do all my demos. I write my stuff. The song is complete. When I send it to him, only thing I need him to do is just enhance things for me. If he says, well, you should maybe let's use this different chord here or something like that, and he knows how to get it sounding ready for radio,
Wow.
but the song is already written. And I put my stuff out because I want to hear it on the radio, and I know the returns are going to come, but I don't think like that first.
Yeah.
A lot of cats be thinking how much money they're going to make. If you go about it that way, you got to do it because you love it, man. It's a passion with me.
Yeah.
That's and the money will
Cause,
come later, and
yeah.
but
Cause
you
you could
gotta,
tell. Yeah, because you could tell some cats, with like it's what do for the money, and they're like they're so arrogant, in person.
yeah.
You're like, come on, dude. All the shit you gotta tell my brother. It's not even like that, man.
You got to do it because you love it. You got to love it, man. You got to have
Exactly.
that passion for it. If you don't have that passion for it, it's not gonna last. There's a lot of cats out there doing it for the money, and you don't hear about them no more.
Yeah, that's true. You're right about that, man.
Yeah,
So, like in 1980, you arrived in San Francisco Bay Area. So
yep.
you work with, some people like Curtis Mayfield, Tower Power. Gerald Albright Jr., what else? Walker and the Average White Band. Come on, man. Ray Charles, the Ray Charles Project, Black
Yeah.
Magic. Oh, man, like the resume, man, was just unbelievable. So, what was it like, to go from all those years, the beginning of it, like in New York, to go to California?
Oh, it was, as soon as I landed in the San Francisco airport and walked outside and felt the weather and stuff, I went, this is it for me. I knew it was it. And, a lot of cats say, hey, man, how come you didn't go down to LA, man? Yeah, LA is I don't mind being the big fish in the little pond, as they say,
Yeah,
because down there in LA, man, it's just it's too much stuff there, you
yeah,
know, and you really don't know, um, especially if you're trying to get something happening. Everybody's trying to get something happening, so people will be friends with you or act like they are. So see what they can, if you can help them get to where they want to be, you know.
yeah,
Up here, I've established friends here in the Bay Area, and plus I work all the time around here. It's a great place to be. San Francisco is really nice, man. It's a great city. Plus we got Oakland just on the other side
yeah,
of the bridge, and San Jose just south of me. You got Monterey even further south, and then you got Napa and Sonoma, all the wine country and everything right here. This place is something else, man.
yeah. I've been out to San Francisco stuff. I got a one of the guys that don't live out there, he would show me around the Bay Area. I said, man, this is nice, man. I said,
It's
man, Lord,
really nice.
nothing. I said, damn, Los Angeles. No offense to
Yeah.
anybody, but man, this is real nice because it's not a whole lot of crap going on, like you
No,
see it going on right now. You know what I'm saying? And I
I go
thought I
to
said, I see why a lot of artists move up like north side of California just to get away from LA.
yeah. I go down to LA just to get what I need to get done, and then I come on back. You
Yeah,
know, I might hang out down there for 2 or 3 days, but and then that's enough.
yeah,
But I go down just to take care of business, and then get back up here. And a lot of guys that used to live here, they moved down to LA, and some people like it. It's just like a lot of people that moved from here and moved to New York. They love
right.
it. That's what I say. I said, look, if I wanted to be in an atmosphere like Los Angeles, instead of coming all the way out here, I could have just went from my hometown and just an hour and a half. I'll be in New York City. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Because they always say, you are the place where you need to be at, especially God, leads you that way and stuff. That's
That's
real true.
right.
So what was it like working with Curtis Mayfield? Rest in peace.
Well, we did the Curtis Mayfield thing. Two things happened. One thing, my band Spangalang, we opened up for Curtis Mayfield at a club up in Santa Cruz.
Oh
place
wow.
called place called the Catalyst. And that was like just a few months before that accident happened with him in Central Park,
Yeah.
where his stuff fell down on him and paralyzed him. We opened up for Curtis Mayfield up there, but Narda Michael Walden is a producer out here that I work with quite a bit too.
Oh, yeah, he's a
Narda,
bad boy, man.
oh yeah, he produced the Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey and Kenny G and Aretha Franklin. I mean, the list goes on. And we did a tribute to a Curtis Mayfield album, and I'm singing on that. Yeah, Narda produced it,
Yeah.
and but I did have an opportunity to open up for Curtis too, so that was pretty cool, man.
Oh wow. Man, that's the goat. I thought to myself, I was like, man, I was like, if that situation did go there, he probably still be here, probably.
Yeah, it's the same thing like with Teddy Pendergrass. That accident, man. It's like that took a lot out of those cats. You get paralyzed. There's so much stuff that don't work anymore.
Yeah, that's the sad part about it, especially when in everybody people would see them all the time walking around, see him as a like a sex symbol figure, to the
Yeah,
ladies and stuff, respected by the man, and just for that to happen, I couldn't even imagine. Like, let me knock on wood, but man, I said that's tough, man.
yeah, it's
Um,
really tough.
to go from Curtis Mayfield to Tower of Power, and I interviewed Lady Williams. He was talking about his early beginnings of Tower of Power during that time. So, what was your experience, dealing with that group at that time?
Well, with Tower Power, I only did some background stuff with them. they had
Oh,
asked me to join the group a couple times because I know those guys in that band, but you know that yeah, it was either that or Santana, so I had to take the Santana thing. But I did the Tower of Power 50th anniversary
oh wow.
celebration, and it's recorded. It's been on the public what they call the PBS stations and all of that.
Yeah,
Yeah, the 50th anniversary. When you watch that, you're gonna see me in there. Matter of fact, they almost had the camera on me just as much as they had on the lead singer, who
yeah.
was Walter. Yeah.
Wow. Because it's crazy too because it's like when people look at the group, people like the far as the fans, they yearn for that lead singer. Like just to
Oh
fill
yeah,
that
man.
void, especially a brother. What I'm saying and nothing. Don't I mean, don't disrespect to the fellas in the group that's here currently and as well as the past. I was like, man, once you get somebody in there, man, it's over.
Yeah.
And stuff and everything. Uh,
Plus it Tower of Power, they need a first tenor singer in that band because all the stuff they do is really high. And I said,
oh
I'm not gonna kill myself trying to do that.
yeah, it
I'm not
ain't
gonna
worth
do
it,
it.
man.
Nah, you see how many singers that they've gone through. They got a new lead singer now. One of the guys, the guy that they had before this guy, he lasted for about maybe 6 months, and that was about it.
Damn. Boy, they go through, man, different little singles, man. Like
Yeah,
changing clothes, man, trying to figure out what shirt to wear, man. Go to the party or something.
yeah, it's a tough one because it's that stuff is the keys are really high,
Yeah.
and it takes that first tenor voice to be able to hit that stuff. I can get up there, but I can't stay up there all doggone night.
Nah, yeah, man. They always say like stick to what you know best. You know what I'm saying? And stuff. Uh, Working with Gerald Albright Jr. And speaking of him, I interviewed his daughter. I think V recommended that like a while back. Ain't that right, V? I think with his daughter and stuff. So what was it like, working with the man himself? I think he. Okay.
You back?
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah. Okay, you see me?
Oh, hold on. Now I lost in the earbuds.
Okay.
Can you hear me there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah,
So what was? Yeah, Joe.
with
Yeah, Joe Albright. Yeah.
Gerald, I'm trying to think of what that had to be something. I got to look at that on the because I'm trying to think of what the heck that was with Gerald Albright.
Oh man, especially you know so much, man. It's just like time go by fast.
Yeah,
Yeah, cause
it had to be a project that he was playing on that I probably sang some background or something on it.
I
Yeah.
interviewed his daughter months ago. She lives now in London and stuff, and just to get away from I guess the chaos was going on in L.A. and stuff. So, which I don't blame her. Me personally, I couldn't do no London and stuff. Like shoot. Once you board the U.S. soil, ain't no going back.
I heard that,
you know,
and
that's the real truth.
that is the truth.
Because on the side note, like because like my sister, she lives in California. She lives in oh god, what's it Acton, California? Yeah. So on my father's side, and I was like, if I live anywhere, it would be to L.A. Had to be like a nice weather, my opinion on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, get back to so like with the Ray Charles project, working with like another icon, was it like more like background vocals or something?
Well, the Ray Charles Project is a band that we put together, doing all Ray Charles music out here.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, we work a lot too.
Oh
Oh
wow.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
also did with Narada Michael Walden. He produced a before Ray passed away. He had produced a little project on Ray Charles. He had me do all the demos for it,
Oh wow.
and and uh, and he called me and gave me a compliment. Narada said, "Man," he said, "I just talked to Ray, and the way he said the vocals that you laid down, he's copying what you did."
Oh
He
man,
liked it that much. He said, I'm going to sing it just like he did."
wow. I tell you, man, that's I mean to sing it, like how he did, man. That's awesome and stuff,
Oh yeah, man.
you know, because I tell you, because when I was talking to Phil Perry, and he said he did the background vocals to "I Be Good to You" with him and Shaka Khan. I was telling him, I said I was shocked, as a child, I mean as a kid to hear Ray Charles sing New Jack Swing, and he ain't never done that, and to see him do that was like mind blowing. For that to go number one, that was rare. That was saying something.
New Jack Swing.
Oh man, yeah, stuff. But now moving on from there. Now you was one of the four vocalists for the road tour for like the was like Dancing with the Stars. Was like what like first 2-3 seasons of it.
Yeah, they had the first, well, actually the first 3 seasons. They would, after the regular season was over, they would take the show on the road,
Oh wow,
and we play at all these big arenas like the Chase Center and you know Staples Center. I mean, all these big arenas. We were playing that show, and I did the first 3 seasons, and a lot of the stars that were on that were on the TV show would also travel with us too. So
oh wow,
that was
yeah,
a lot of fun.
that's the stuff with like one of the most popular shows and stuff. Because you see different entertainers, want to dance. There's some that they can really hang on. I mean, they can't hang in there. There's some just don't need to be doing. I think I saw Master P get on that one time. I said, "Nah, brother, you don't need to be dancing, man. Just stick to rapping and be CEO." Stuff
Yeah.
you don't be do. But you know, for you to be a part of so much different, adventures, your career, what kind of comes to mind sometimes when you think, kind of like like when you reflect.
Um, I just being grateful and thankful that all this kind of stuff is coming my way.
Yeah,
I mean, I just keep doing what I'm doing, and people recognize it, and because it's always positive, and I keep getting calls.
yeah,
It's like I reach out sometimes, but more than me reaching out, somebody else contacts me, so it's always pretty cool. I have nothing to complain about, man.
yeah.
Nothing.
Now, how did the Golden State Warriors situation came about?
Um, the first thing I did uh, back in the it must have been early '90s. I sang the national anthem for the San Francisco Giants.
Oh wow.
So those were the first ones that I did it with, back at Candlestick Park. And after doing a few of those and all that, the word gets around. Your name is in a Rolodex, of course, and then all these other organizations. I do the Warriors games. I do the Giants games. I do the Oakland A's. The Oakland A's are not here anymore, but I did a couple of those games before they left. The San Jose Sharks.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Oh wow.
I want to do the new WNBA team that they have here now. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. Was
Those
it
girls, the Valkyries.
the Valkyries? Yeah.
Those girls are pretty good,
Yeah. Oh
and they
man.
and they sell out every game.
That's saying something right there, man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Because I tell you, because I noticed too. I think I saw something on ESPN. There was expanded more of WNBA female teams and stuff, and I know they got one for the NBA. When they try to bring back Seattle Sonics back and
right,
stuff,
right.
so that's gonna be kind of interesting to see that. And okay, also from there, now with all the accolades, that you done got, saying 2018 release out your solo project called Something Beautiful, the first single, Sweet Love.
Yeah.
We declined to rapidly number one on the independent soul charts. So how did that song, Sweet Love, came about?
Um, it had to be. I was at my studio fooling around with stuff,
Oh
and
wow,
I'm fooling around trying to figure, have a beat going, and then
yeah,
I hear some chords. I go, ooh, you know what? I think I can develop this, and that's how all the songs come about.
yeah,
It's just you just need a couple chords, and then once you get a couple chords that you're happy with, boom, I'm in.
yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty much the process with all the stuff that I write too. It either a chorus comes up first or a title or something like that, and I say, you know what? Let me see if I can develop that. But then there's a whole bunch of them that sometimes I think it sounds good, and I go back to listen to it the next day and go, delete.
Yeah. Now you was man, like scoring hits back to back, for Sweet Love, to So in Love, there were number two, then
Yeah, So in Love
yeah,
is a ballad there.
yeah.
Have you heard any of those songs?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna tell you something, man. Somebody gonna mess around, get in trouble, man. Hear that record, brother. What I heard on Spotify, man, I said, man, let me tell you, it's one thing, if somebody was dating somebody, but you get too comfortable, man. I don't know what to say. I mean, any young man that's watching this YouTube video, man, you play
Well,
his
see,
record, just
and
be a
when I
gentleman about it.
when I write, I try to write things that fit mostly everybody because
Yeah.
we're human beings. Everybody got the same needs and wants.
Oh
You
yeah, man.
know,
Yeah.
I don't try to get too personal and stuff. Some people they write a song and they telling all their business and always got a
Oh man.
broken heart with this and that. Can you write a happy song for a change?
Yeah, man. Because when you do too much bagging in every single song, man, like that's a problem, man.
Oh,
You know. Because if you stuck in that time frame, that's you're not really growing. You're just going backwards. Like if you stuck in 1995, brother, that's a problem, man.
yeah, man. It comes to that thing where we all go through the same kind of thing. Everybody got the same wants and needs. We're human beings, man. We're
Yeah,
not going to be that much different.
yeah,
So
man. You ain't
trying
lying
to
for
trying to trying to write something that can fit the general public.
that. Now your song "So in Love," earned a Tony Soul Cafe Radio Award. And what was
Yes,
it's one thing you win in other awards for other stuff, but to get your own, how did that feel personally for you?
that's I'm glad you asked that question too, because even with all these Grammys and stuff that I got, these were with Santana.
Yeah.
And it's great to have them. I got a whole bunch of other plaques and stuff on the wall here, but when I received it for the work that I did myself, you know, that just makes everything legitimate. It's like I know I can do this, and
Yeah.
I know I write some good stuff. That's why I said I got to get this out here, get people to hear it, get it on the radio, and then let the people be the judge. And they've been the judge on quite a few of them because they
Oh,
got
man.
got quite a few of them that went number one.
Yeah, because I mean, like when I heard, man, like my favorite song "Set Me Free," I had to play that 5, 6 times. I was like, man, just
And then a
it puts
nice
you that
tune.
little trance, man, your mind, man, like where you was at in a certain moment of your life, where like everything just like felt good for that moment.
Yeah,
It's like a flashback. You want to get back to it, but on a current,
yeah.
situation and stuff.
So I take it that you didn't get a chance to listen to the Soul Soldier album, then, huh?
Now, man, I was too focused on that joint.
Wait,
But I'm
wait,
definitely am after this.
wait till you hear that one.
Oh, I gotta check that out, man.
Oh yeah,
I gotta check that out,
yeah.
man.
Something Beautiful is really that's a killing the record with that. I'm gonna tell you that Soul Soldier is another one.
Uh, now, correct me on this though. You scored a number one hit with "Merry Christmas."
Yes,
Oh man.
I wrote a Christmas. As a matter of fact, I wrote two Christmas songs. I got a Christmas album out too that I did last year.
Oh
It's
wow.
the one and only Christmas album that I'm gonna do because you only got to do one,
Oh yeah. Yep.
you know. And
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I wrote it. I wrote at least two of the Christmas songs on there. I want to have at least two of my own on it, and I did that. So then the rest of them were favorite Christmas songs that I liked, like the Donny Hathaway one,
Oh man.
"Hang on the Mistletoe," all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah. That's
album
a
came out
classic.
really good.
That's a classic, man. I mean,
Oh yeah,
that's and I don't know why some artists of the now, as far as independent artists of today, it's like they're afraid, to like evolve. It's like they figure that I just focus on, as far as a male artist, I just got focused on being a ballad artist. And for you, it's like nah, man, it's not even about that. You supposed to be universal as an artist, and
you got
stuff.
to mix it up, man.
Yeah, because
Most
you,
definitely.
because you as a performer, what advice you give to artists that want to perfect their craft as being a writer or being a performer?
With both of them, you just got to keep doing it. It's being persistent. Um, just got to keep at it because especially when writing songs, man, it's not easy. Some cats can sit down here and they think they can. Some guys have that really great talent that they can write a song in a day or whatever. But
Yeah.
the biggest thing is when you think it's right, keep listening to it. Really think about it because editing is a very important part of writing a song, especially when it comes to lyrics. There's always a better line that you can put in your lyrics to tell. It's got to tell that story. So when you're listening to my music, I'm hoping that you can visualize what I'm talking about. The story is like right there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one thing. That's one thing I really like about country music, especially the old country,
Oh yeah.
because all this stuff told the story.
Yeah, because you can feel the spirit of it too. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
And stuff. You think about Aaron Naval. You think about oh God, man, there's so many of them, man.
Charlie Pride.
Charlie Pride and stuff. You like, wow, man. Alabama. It's like that music, man. Speak to your soul and stuff.
Yeah,
And it
it's
had a meaning
telling
behind that.
telling that story. You need to do that with and uh the way they write today. Yeah, the younger kids like it, but there's a lot of stuff that they could definitely find better words to use when they're talking about women and the way they
Yeah.
treat. Yeah, it's like, come on, man.
Cause I never thought, I would hear curse words in an R&B record. I'm like, dang, like how you
Oh
go
yeah,
from loving that woman all those years, and you say certain words, even to women, too. Is like that because back then it's like everybody knew a difference between the artists. Like everybody knew a Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Sam Cooke,
that's right.
all those cats. But now it's like these artists today. It's like who are they? You know what I'm saying? Like they chasing something, competing, they hate on each other, just all kinds of stuff, man. Just all
Yeah,
over the place, man.
it's a different era.
It is, man.
I'm
You
glad
know,
I grew up in the '60s and '70s because I'm gonna tell you, man, everybody had their own handprint, their own
yeah,
fingerprint. When you heard Al Green, when you heard a Stevie Wonder song, when you heard Earth, Wind and Fire, when you heard, the list of people goes on. You can
yeah,
tell who the artist was in back 8 bars in that song. You knew who it was. Stylistics, the
yeah,
Intruders, you know, the Spinners. The Temptations, all the
yeah,
Motown sound. And the sound from Philadelphia, and when they even come out of Memphis with Isaac Hayes and all of them, you knew who they were.
yep,
It,
yeah.
it had
Especially
it,
soon as you
it was
first,
an
man, soon as you hear
identity
that,
in it. Yeah, identity in that music, man.
yeah, especially first hear the intro. Oh man, so you
Yeah,
run straight to the radio or you watch stuff on Soul Train or whatever. Oh man, shit, it was on, man. You know, it,
telling you
it's
now, he don't know who's who.
nah. You can't tell the difference because they singing. What's that equipment they use like auto tune and
Auto
all that.
tune. Yeah, we we sang the song 10 million times till we got it right.
Yeah,
A
see, that's
perfect example of what I'm talking about too. I was up at my studio today, and it's a day off for me today. So a lot of times on my day off, I let all the air out of the tires, man, and just just relax. But I got a new tune that I finished, and I wanted to sent a full mix copy down to my buddy Randy a couple weeks ago. But see, now what I need to send him is because now that he knows what the tune is, I need to send
yeah,
him the stems, the background vocals. I need to send him each one of the tracks. But I got to listen to all that stuff before I send it to him, especially mainly the vocals, because I got to make sure that stuff is in tune the way I sang it. And if my voice cracked or whatever, I got to sing it over. Man, I was up there today trying to sing some of them background vocals, and I had to slap myself upside the head and turn everything off and say, you know what? I'm getting the heck out of here. I sound like crap today.
Oh man,
there's
that's
there's
crazy.
no way I can sit down there with what I was attempting to send him today. I went, I'll come back another time, and
Yeah.
and the voice just wasn't. Is like, nah, I don't feel like doing this today.
Wow. Because I was going to ask you about that. You've been singing for so many years. How do you manage your voice? Because I know that you get your voice changes and it goes in a different lane and stuff. How do you manage your voice to stay, intact?
Just not doing any crazy stuff, man. I never smoked cigarettes and stuff. Alcohol. I'm very limited with that. I have a glass of wine with dinner or something like that, and maybe have a beer every now and then. But that's it. And getting as much rest as I can, and working out. Matter of fact, uh, after I shut my stuff down at the studio, I went straight to the gym and went and got in the steam room and took me a nice swim, and I came here, and now I'm on the podcast.
Oh man, yeah, man. Because I like to, man, be that age where here I'm 44, so I just turned 44. So I love to be a certain age where I can look back and say, man, I worked out and everything. Not working on dropping 20 pounds. I'm at 260. I'm like, yeah, man, I got to get this down.
How old did you say you were again?
Yeah, I just turned 44.
Man, I got shoes that old.
Oh man, yeah,
Yeah, I
cause
got shoes that old, man.
I thought to myself, I said, man, I weigh 262. I said, yeah, I gotta get that down, man, because
Yeah,
I want to live
that's
for my
important too.
kids.
It's important for your heart, all of that. But in September next, this coming September, I'll be 71, man.
Oh, man, that's a blessing, man.
Got to keep rolling.
Yeah, you never gotta keep rolling. With so many legendary artists that passed away and stuff. Some you do personally. What kind of like clicks in your mind? Like, dang man, another one.
It starts to hit real close after a while. With the Walter Scott from the Whispers, because I
Yeah.
wrote a song that's on one of the Whispers albums.
Oh wow.
Remember the album they put out called More of the Night?
Yeah.
There's a song on there called "Don't Be Late for Love."
Oh, you
That's
wrote
my
that? Oh
that's my
man.
tune. Me
Okay.
and me and a guy named Rick Ferguson and another guy named Damon Jenkins
Wow.
wrote that song.
Okay, man. Cause that man, hey man, that's a fine joint right there, man.
Yeah, it is. And
I even
there was a little battle between the Whispers and Peebo Bryson, and
wow.
because both of them wanted to do it, and the Capitol Records had called me and said, "So which artist do you want to do it?" I went, "The Whispers for sure." Are you kidding? Was Scotty singing that? Oh,
Oh man. Sky will murder it.
yeah, Scotty's
Yeah.
something else, man. It was nice. I got to know those guys, and the last time I saw them was was it last year? Yeah, Frankie passed last year. So the last three gigs that I did with Frankie on the gig, we did in Philadelphia. His last performance in Philly. That was his last
Right.
performance, and the Whispers opened up for us on that gig.
Oh wow.
And that's the last time I saw Scotty and Walter and those guys in Lavelle.
Yeah.
So then after that we did the Essence Jazz Festival, and then I'm on the board here in San Jose with the San Jose Jazz Festival. And when they
Oh
found out that I was taking Frankie's place, they said, well, "Man, we don't have a closer on the R&B stage for the San Jose Jazz Festival. Could you guys do it?" I put him in touch with management, and we were the closer for the show, and that was Frankie's last show.
wow.
Less than a month after that, he passed away.
Man, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Because I never forget when V, she sent me the autograph photo picture on the day that he transitioned the same day. And I said, man, that's crazy, man, how life, goes on his way like that, and because I always wanted to interview him, but I understood his condition and everything and stuff. So I was like, you know what, at least I had a picture, what I'm saying. So God used me to make that happen and stuff like that, this stuff. Yeah, because I interviewed the Whispers 2 years ago. It was fun. I had a good time. I ain't gonna mention the lady's name because I told her, I said we had to go through a PR to make it happen. She said, "Nah, we're using that Bobby Doll help for like we gonna make it happen." I said, "You got it." I
Yeah,
said,
those
"Let's
guys are
get
cool.
it." Stuff.
So it's a couple of them, with Walter gone, and Frankie, and
Yeah.
then another friend of mine was Dwayne Wiggins from Tony.
Oh yeah, that shocked me right there, man.
Yeah, man.
You could have told me anything on that one, man. You know. I think sometimes people don't understand. As far as a fan, I understand for some fans, it's like we see people like Chris Jasper and all
Right.
those passed
There's
away.
another
It's
one.
like guys trying to tell everybody to really take care of themselves and stuff. But when it's time to go, it's time to go. I wish we could live
Ain't
on.
nothing. Ain't nothing we can do about it.
Ain't nothing we can do, man. Like we all supposed to grow old and
That's why you got
move
to.
on.
Big thing is you got to keep moving, man.
You got
You
to.
got to. You got to keep people saying, man, how do you do that? Hey, when we did the festival in Hampton,
Yeah.
so I was in Europe the whole week before that festival. So I did the night before. I did a gig in Switzerland. I got on the plane first thing the next morning, which was on the 28th, which was the day that we did the Hampton Jazz Festival. So
Wow.
I got on the plane at my plane left Zurich, Switzerland at 10:45.
Wow.
Landed in Philadelphia just before 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and got there. And I went to the counter to see if I can get on an earlier flight, and every single flight was canceled on every airline.
Ah man.
And I'm like, you kidding me? So I said, well, they said, well, there's a slim possibility that there's a flight that's going to go out around about 7 o'clock. I said, well, what time does that get me into Norfolk, Virginia? It'd be about 8. I went, oh man, that's too late. We're supposed to be on stage at 8:25. So I'm walking around. They changed my flight. I'm walking to the gate to where I was supposed to fly out, and I kept looking at the screens, just in case. I get down to the gate that flight where they changed me to.
Yeah.
I look up at the screen, and the flight that I was on, which was at 4:49 or about 5 o'clock, that one came back up on the screen, leaving on time. So
Wow.
I went from that gate that I was at and went over to the gate where my original flight was leaving. And the lady there, I said, hey, you know what? They just changed my flight now. Can I get back on this? This is my original flight. And of course, that young sister she just didn't know what she was doing. Oh, I can't get you back on. I went, you got to be kidding me. So I walked directly across from where she was at to a brother over there that was loading people on the plane to get them out of there. And I said, man, can you help me get back on the flight? They bumped me onto a later flight because they didn't think that it was going to be leaving. Now my original flight is back on the screen, leaving in 30 minutes. He said, just give me a couple seconds. Let me get these people on. He took that ticket. 10 minutes later, he came and said, here you go, man. You're on your flight.
Wow.
I got down. I called the Amaze folks and said, hey, I'm back on my original flight because I had called them and told them everything was canceled and they were freaking out.
Oh
So
wow.
I just left it. I said, you know what? uh, God, ain't nothing I can do about this. I'm leaving this in your hands. And 5 minutes later, after I said that, that's when that flight came back up on the screen, which was really strange. I got on the flight. I got down there to the hotel at 7 o'clock. And I called them. I said, okay, I'm here. What time we leaving? They said, we're going over to the venue at 7:30. I took a quick shower, changed my clothes, jumped on the shuttle when we got over there and on stage at 8:25.
Oh man, that's incredible, man.
They were like, ain't you tired? I said, no. I said, the adrenaline is going now. I said, I'll probably be tired after we finish, but I ain't tired right now. And then the next morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, I was on a flight to Detroit to do a gig with a rock band in Detroit. Totally
Wow.
different. Yeah, 6
Wow.
a.m. that next morning, I was on a flight to Detroit.
Oh man. Hey, like when you love what you do, man. Hey, like ain't nothing like it, man.
Got to keep moving, man.
You got to, what I'm saying? You
You
got
know,
to,
because well, to see the thing is when you're doing stuff like that, you're the adrenaline kind of I feed off of that because it's an energy thing at that point. You know,
Yeah.
I get a little sleep here and a little sleep there, and then yeah, when it's time to hit it, especially with you get a band like that Maze band backing you up.
Yeah.
This cats boy, when they hit it, they ain't no joke. That band is bad, man.
Oh yeah, man. I truly believe, 'cause I saw some clips on YouTube. I said, man, like you brothers get down, man. Especially be like that sound itself. Oh, come on now, So don't get no better than that.
Yeah,
That's real true.
I feel very fortunate, honored, and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
Lucky, whatever you want to call it. I feel blessed, man, and I come back to that thing of knowing how to get along with people and doing your homework and being
yeah.
ready to go. You got to do your homework, man. A lot of cats don't do their homework.
No, they don't. Don't be all over. Yeah, no, that's sad too, though, because you got some folks they will see you on the screen and they think it is easy. It doesn't work like that.
Nah, man.
It doesn't. It takes practice. Work takes focus. And
Yeah, when
some people are
you
very tone deaf to that.
exactly,
Yeah, that's real true.
and it definitely helped to like the music because when you got to do some music that you don't like, that gets real hard.
Yeah, you ain't lying about that, man.
Oh,
Especially, uh,
I've
shoot.
been in I've been in that situation before. It's like I can't stand this stuff. I had to learn it anyway.
Oh man. Uh, Before I wrap it up, what you got next for like the rest of 2025?
I am. What do I have this month? I'm going to. I don't go back to Europe till next month, but I got a bunch of gigs here in the Bay Area, and I'm gonna go and do my my hometown is having a town reunion the weekend of the July 25th. So I didn't think I was gonna be able to attend because I thought it was gonna be some gig or something that was gonna pay me a lot of money, or somebody asked me to come to Europe to do some stuff, and I wouldn't. And so the schedule is clean for that weekend. So I'm gonna go back and see folks who I ain't seen in probably 30 years, and
Wow,
yeah, do that, and then but I'm working all the time. Matter of fact, I got to work tomorrow. I worked yesterday. I got a gig tomorrow, and I got a whole bunch of gigs and recording sessions coming up. And besides working on my own stuff, getting that new tune out, getting that ready to hit the radio and all that kind of stuff. So I got plenty of work to do. There's never a problem with working, that's for sure.
absolutely. For your fans, who has been rocking with you for years, they never got a chance to see you perform live. When they do get a chance to see you perform live, you get there like the Tony. I mean, like, what's like to have like the Tony Lindsay experience, on stage?
Ooh, a Tony Lindsay experience. I was never asked that question before. Well, I hope that they enjoy it. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I try to make everybody feel comfortable, and because my comfort zone is up there on stage, man. So I like people to feel like they're sitting in my living room listening to me perform, or in my house or whatever.
yeah.
Hopefully that I can make them forget about their troubles for the time that they're watching me perform. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And stuff. Man, shoot. With that being said, big shout out to Miss V Vintage for making this interview happen and stuff.
Yeah, is Miss
And
V Miss V on there too somewhere?
yeah, she's all there leaving the comments and stuff on there. What I'm saying? I appreciate her, man, for making this happen. What I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because to me, you're the closest thing to, like, a lot of pioneers, man. Like, hey, man, like, talking to him could have been the Curtis Mayfield here, could have been Ray Charles
Oh
here,
yeah.
Frankie Beverly, everything, my brother. So, hey, man, it's an honor, say this interview
Yeah,
happened.
I've had the pleasure of working with Al Jarreau's another one.
Wow.
Me and
Oh, man.
that one experience with um, Al Jarreau's album called Heaven and Earth.
Yeah.
That's the name of the
Oh, man,
album.
that's classic right there.
So now on one song on there, if I what it's called, something about hearing your name. That's the title. Something that if I ever
Okay.
heard, me and Al Jarreau and Bobby McFerrin are singing background on that tune.
Wow.
I'm in the studio with those two guys standing in between them singing background. I'm like,
Oh, man.
Are you kidding me? Nobody's gonna believe this.
She did believe it now, man. Once it's in the credits,
Yeah,
it's tough.
it's in
It's
there.
tough. Oh man, God rest his soul, man. We definitely got to break you back, man. Seem like a new project, and more other some business adventures you got going and stuff. Definitely.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff out there. Earth, Wind, and Fire too. A buddy of mine by the name of Skylark
Oh
wrote
wow.
wrote a comeback hit for Earth, Wind, and Fire called "System of Survival." You ever heard that song?
Oh yeah, I know that system of survive. I remember that. Yeah, I used to
Well,
wear that out as a kid.
we did the demo of at Skylark's place, and Earth, Wind, and Fire loved our background vocals so much that they left us on there with them.
Wow,
Yeah,
man. Wow, God rest his soul, Maurice White, man.
the
So
OJ's too.
wow.
I'm on an OJ's record.
Hey, they say like the really broke, don't try to fix it. Nobody got ears, you know what I'm saying?
Ain't
So
trying to fix it.
definitely, man. Shoot. Well, all right, brother, man. Like you have a blessed night, man. Thank you
Hey,
again,
I
man, for coming
appreciate it,
on here.
Rashid.
You got it, brother.
You got it. Peace.